First and foremost, I want to thank this bitch for suggesting this video idea, and I also want to thank Britney Spears for creating me and all of us when she kissed Madonna at the VMAs. Now, on to the video. So, I can say with confidence that nobody likes the idea of the queens on All Stars voting who should be the top 2 out of the top 4, nor did anybody, except for Trixie fans, like the outcome. But let's say that RuPaul wanted to ruin an already ruined season of All Stars, which started out as one of the best seasons and slowly descended into Alaska favoritism and Alaska Talks bullshit by adding the twist of Coco, Adore, Ginger, Fifi, Tatiana, and Alyssa, choosing the top 2 out of Alaska, Detox, Katya, and Roxy. We immediately encounter a problem here, or more of a question to be discussed. Would Adore and Fifi have returned for the finale? Adore did not return for the stand-up comedy challenge, but she might return for the finale because she doesn't have to compete here. Fifi would not return because of the maltreatment of her and her character in general, but let's assume that they would have returned and that they were contractually obligated to appear here and weren't able to get out of this. Let's look at the reasons why each of All Stars 3 jury queens voted for the top 2 in order to get an idea of which direction I should go here with deciding. Aja's first pick was made by thinking who would benefit the most out of being in the top 2 or possibly winning All Stars, and that was Kennedy. Her second pick was who has worked the hardest outside of Drag Race, and that's Trixie. Ben de la Creme somewhat just gave a sympathy vote to Kennedy, but not sympathy in like a bad way. Rather, she felt for Kennedy and understood Kennedy's reasons for being on All Stars and wanting to win, and no reason was given for Trixie. For Chi Chi, Kennedy was an automatic choice, and while there is no exact reason given, we can assume that it's just Chi Chi admiring Kennedy, being a fan of hers, and genuinely wanting her to win. No reason was given for Trixie. Milk's decision was just based on the jury's conversations with the top 4. Morgan, again, said nothing too specific. She just mentions that there are a lot of ways she could vote. Either she could vote for a longtime friend or someone who has worked hard, and so on and so on. Torji, after talking to the queens, she's changed her mind, and that's all she says. Even after going back and rewatching the jury voting for the top 2, I didn't like the idea of looking at All Stars 3, given that one queen's opinions differ from the others, and there is no way to figure out exactly how each queen would have voted. However, I did go back and rewatch the scene just so I could get a better idea of what things to look at, and most commonly the jury went by their conversations with the top 4, the queen's work outside of Drag Race, and just like a personal opinion. Instead of talking to the judges, All Stars 3's top 4 had to talk to the jury, and let's say that the speeches that the queens gave the judges would have been what the queen said to the jury. Alaska's speech was fake as fuck, and honestly so annoying, and I don't think any of the queens in the jury would have appreciated it. Now, Alaska could have gone the route of talking about the fact that she has the best track record, which did not bode well for Shangela, and I don't think it would have for Alaska either. Detox's speech I would equate to BB's, you know, nothing too special, just saying that she wanted to prove herself and wanted to win the crown, and that she did do well in the competition. While BB's speech did not go well with the All Stars 3 jury, I think Detox would have been well received, like solely because BB has already won season 1 and she didn't need another crown. Detox's speech is also somewhat similar to Trixie's because she also mentions other girls, but not the same amount as Trixie does. Katya though, Katya's speech made me actually cry. Like, it started out with a cute joke and the character of Katya speaking, and then went into a very raw and real show of emotion and her appreciation for All Stars 2, basically saying that even if she did not win, she would have come out a winner. It would have gone well with the girls and would have been kind of like Kennedy's speech, just a little more on the side of personal growth. Not to mention the fact that she ends it with another funny joke that stays true to the character. Много букв, она звезда навсегда. And lastly, Roxy's speech was basically just like, yeah, I'm here, I did some stuff, thanks, when do I leave? I mean, not literally, but I feel like she knew she wasn't staying for a top 2 or top 3 and gave like a very basic speech. The choices I'm gonna make might differ from what you think the queens might have made, but I'm gonna try to explain my reason behind thinking why each queen would vote for Alaska, Detox, Katya, or Roxy, and then round up the points in order to see who would have been in the top 2, judging from my guesses. With all this exposition out of the way, let's start guessing. Coco is up first, and we know she wouldn't vote for Roxy, even though they are friends. Coco was still upset over Roxy eliminating her. But see, then again, Milk was eliminated by Kennedy, and yet she voted for her, so I might be wrong with my initial statement with Coco, but I would say that she'd vote for Katya first and then Detox second for the reasons that I mentioned previously. Adore is next. She would probably vote for any two queens out of Alaska, Detox, and Katya, pretty much all three because they are great friends. I think she would vote for Katya first because Katya basically wore her heart on her sleeve and we know Adore loves that, and then Alaska second. Ginger would vote for her BFF Katya first, and then the second vote would probably go to Roxy because they're both from Orlando and friends too, I guess? Going off of Fifi's already established thing of choosing queens while being as fair as possible and how well they did in the competition, I think her first vote would go to Alaska, but her second vote would go to Katya, I think, because they were shown a couple of times in the workroom being friendly. Tatiana, I think, would go for Detox first and then Katya second, solely because Alaska eliminated her twice over Roxy of all people. Alyssa, I think, would go for Alaska first and Katya second. So this is how I think the voting would have gone. This means that Alaska would have had 5 points, Detox 3, Katya 9, and Roxy 1. This means that the top two would have been Alaska and Katya, with the winner remaining the same, Alaska. Not just because she did better than Katya in the competition, but also because her lip sync to If I Were Your Woman was actually good for an Alaska lip sync and for a standing still lip syncing to a slow ballad lip sync. Not just that, but the producers, after Alaska's tantrum in the penultimate episode, decided that Alaska would win the crown. So yeah, not much would have changed, Roxy would have still placed fourth, Detox would have been unappreciated by fans, Katya would have had the moment of seeing her co-workers appreciating her and her drag, also fan service with Katya being in the top 2, and Alaska would have won. As a closer of the video, I just want to say that I would love if, when commenting, you guys commented in your first languages. This sounded like a selfish reason because I want to see if I would be able to fully understand comments in some other languages like Spanish, for example, given that I also want to try to do a video in Spanish maybe, or Russian, or my mother tongue someday.